Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Pat. Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited to be connecting with all of you. Thank you for tuning us in and turning us on. Hey, listen, we are getting closer and closer to that time of year that I love so much. Today, Benny, we're going to introduce our listeners to Eve. But before we do that, how's Mr. B?
B pretty good. Just trying to dry out a little bit. It's pretty nasty out here in the Seattle area.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Sure, go for
it. Did you decide what you're dressing up as?
Maybe.
Okay, you're not going to say. Okay.
Nope.
So do you want to hear like the recommendations that people made for me?
Sure.
Okay, so I got my hair done, and I got it done almost whitish, right? I love that.
So you went with
style.
that one, yeah.
I went with that one. Remember we talked about it, I went with that one.
I think when Jen Morgan was around, we were discussing it a little bit.
We were talking about it.
Yeah.
So you think that I would get some really interesting suggestions on what to dress up as. I did. So now I can be, with the hair, an older version of Elvis Presley. So I could do that as if Elvis Presley had like this color hair. Mm-hmm. Or the latest one is Jerry Lee Lewis.
Ooh.
Right?
I'm kind of digging the Great Balls of Fire. You should go with that way.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, you should go that way. Fire. Huge piano.
Right. But I know, but I was going to wait till after the show today with Eve because she's going to do like something. We've never done this before, Benny. In all the years, I've never had somebody do a tarot reading on me live. And so we're going to get a dose of that. I am so excited for everybody out there, and Benny included. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio with Eve. And guess what? Eve is going to be starting a regular weekly show here. You all are going to be hearing her, tuning in as you would normally do, right at the time spot that you're generally used to hearing me. But guess what? I'm bringing something better. Eve, Metaphysics, Mainstream Metaphysics Radio, harnessing the power of the universe for optimal success and happiness. Why not? Today you're going to hear about what this show is going to be about, but also about what Eve's journey has been about. For those of you that may have a sense of who Eve is, then you're going to get this. Intuitive since birth, providing insight for decades, for those at crossroads. And you know what? I got to say, I'm one of those. I'm a crossroads kind of chick. Her work has included personal matchmaking for singles, crisis intervention for police units, outreach for those dealing with terminal illness, strategic consulting for nonprofits. And what I know about her, she also has a nickname. And you're going to hear about what that nickname is. Readings are positive, optimistic, empowering. She is that. Wait till you hear the vibe she's going to bring. And, you know, part of this is getting a sense of, where are we? What can we entertain in our lives? What kind of insights? How do we unlock the answers inside? She helps people do that. She's sort of this amazing facilitator of that which is inside ourselves, and yet by ourselves we cannot bring to the forefront. So today you're going to find out more about who Eve is, about the show. The show is fabulous, and how Eve is so skilled at working with both business professionals, with organizational leaders, brand visionaries, as well as metaphysical practitioners and all of us. So how about it, everybody? Let me introduce you to Eve. Eve, it's great to have you here.
Oh, wow. What a fantastic introduction. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here and be a part of the Transformation Talk Radio Network.
And you're going to get to work with Benny.
That was totally exciting for me. But to tell you the truth, every single person that I've worked with, I've talked with through the network has just been incredibly professional. And I just want to thank you so much for your generosity of spirit, your leadership. I love this network. And I'm just so, it's such a privilege for me to be part of it and to be part of the family.
Yeah. You know, isn't it kind of a cool thing to know that you, Eve, can do what you love? I can do what I love. Benny can do what he loves. All of the folks here. And thank you so much for those kind words. And we can create conversations for a better world. Isn't that amazing? For you, how has it been for you to create this slice of life's journey for yourself? What has this been like for you?
It's been exactly what you just said, quite the journey and the adventure. Because let me tell you, if you had told me 40, 20, 10, or maybe even 6 years ago that I'd be here talking to you and Benny and talking about my own radio show, hosting the show Mainstream Metaphysics Radio, I would have been shocked. I'm just, I like to think of myself as a type A control freak yuppie and had almost no connection with the metaphysical community growing up. But I'd always been intuitive. And so I'd always had dreams that came true, scary dreams as a kid, but when you wake up, you look back on them and you say, there was nothing really scary there. And trying to figure that all out pre-internet, pre-Long Island Medium, pre-John Edwards.
Right.
And the only thing I really knew about psychic phenomenon or if metaphysics was just from TV and movies when they would talk about telekinesis and things like that. But you know what? You just accept your reality. And I never thought that while I was intuitive, that I could also make that part of my journey, much less work with people around the world, help them also find their path and connect with their joy. That has been such a great privilege, but such an adventure that starts with, oddly enough, the very first card in the tarot is the Fool, which is all about taking that leap of faith. And so I'm taking that leap of faith every day, and particularly when I started this career as well, particularly not since I didn't start the career until my 40s, and now hosting the show. And I love working with people about having them take their leap of faith so they can be doing something that they love. They can be living their truth and embracing their joy.
Yeah. You know what I love about what you're talking about is that some days, and I said this last night, I was speaking with someone last night from Australia, and I said, you know, some days I actually have to pinch myself, you know, to figure out, is this really me? Is this really my life? You know, is this really what has showed up here? And I wanted to ask you, you have been named one of the country's top psychics. I mean, you are at the top of the leaderboard, right? That had to come. That someone said to me, whenever you're the top of something, it comes as a curse and a blessing. I don't know. I'd love to hear that from you. Was it both or not?
Well, I think I just look at it as a privilege that people see that in me. I just do my thing and hope that it resonates with everyone else. But I also realized very early on not to take myself so seriously and because I still have so much to learn. And I think that when we stop growing, when we stop learning, we also stop evolving. I learn just as much today from a reading that I'll do with a client and from my client than I did when I started this out, and I didn't know anything about tarot or anything about it. And I think we're all striving for enlightenment, awareness, and we all approach it from such different perspectives. And I want to learn more about how everyone else attaches themselves to enlightenment.
Mhm.
And I'm just feel blessed and honored that people have resonated with what I bring, and I just look at it as, and I kind of stop there, as opposed to kind of thinking myself, oh, I'm one of the country's top psychics. Because then you also stop growing.
Exactly. Now, before we go to break, I want to talk about Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. What a cool title. I mean, it's like your brain has to stop for a minute and say, what? What did she say? Tell us about that. Tell us about the show name and how it aligns with the way you show up in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to create a radio show that had one foot in the metaphysics world and one foot in the mainstream, because that's how I see myself.
Me
I'm
too.
a composite, and how I approach my work. As I said, there's more than one way for enlightenment, and I wanted to kind of create that forum to look at all the different ways that we can gain more access to understanding ourselves and tapping into our own power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. I'm all about using what is in your power, what is in your control, as opposed to anything else. And so Mainstream Metaphysics Radio, it's really tapping into your own power. As part of the show, we'll be talking a little tarot, highlighting a different card each week, not in the sense of a definition, but just because tarot is kind of an intuitive art, and seeing how that card might apply with something that people are dealing with in their lives. And then we'll be also talking with people from different spiritual, metaphysical, and business callings to hear about their journey, their approach, because I want to hear from them. I want to hear from also the listeners and find out more, because we're all in this together.
I love it. And, part of this is we're going to show today, two things are going to happen, which is really kind of cool. One is phone lines will be open for the second half, so you can call in and experience a mini reading. But what's going to happen, Benny, here when we come back from break, I don't really know. Even I have not rehearsed this. I have no idea what she's going to say, but she's actually going to be doing a reading on me. Wow. I'm a little nervous, Benny. I'm a little nervous. Let's go to break so I can breathe. We'll be right back, everyone.
Dr. Bree Gibbs is a fourth-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration in conscious creation, offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions. Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.net. That's silvergaia.net.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Tune in to the Angels and Answers Psychic Radio Show with clairvoyants Artie Hoffman and Sky Siegel every Thursday for a 2-hour show, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio. Artie and Sky deliver spiritual and motivational messages with passion and a sense of humor. Call in 800-930-2819 for live and on-air readings. Visit artiehoffman.com and skyofangels.com.
Are you anxious, worried, or insecure? Hi, I'm Dr. Friedman Schaub. I'm the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution. Join me for my next breakthrough video seminar, which starts on September 10th. This program has helped thousands of people worldwide to overcome their struggles with anxiety, and I'm certain it can also help you. If you're ready to be free again and have a stronger foundation of inner peace and confidence, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
I can have it all. I'm dancing for my life. Absolutely dancing. And if you don't have your dancing clothes on, go ahead and put them on and shake it up a little bit, because that's what Eve is all about. That's what Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is about. This is about, doing it. Benny, nice, Benny. Nice. Eve, before we kind of jump ahead, and I know we're going to be talking about whatever is going to show up here as you're doing a reading for me. Later on in the show, folks, write this number down, 1-800-930-2819. If you decide to call in right now, Benny will put you on hold, but get ready. When we come back later on, we're going to be doing mini readings. Not we. Eve is going to be doing mini readings for you guys. 1-800-930-2819. And by the way, Eve is going to do that every week for you. Today now, I'm excited to talk with her about how does she go about this. But before we do, Eve, tell folks about your website, how they can contact you directly, because I know we're going to get so busy here, we're going to probably forget.
So I can be reached through my company, Elite Tarot. That's ELITETAROT.com. And people can contact me. I do readings from Tucson to Tanzania over phone and Skype. And so people can look me up that way.
Sweet. Now, I don't even know how you even go about this. Before we get to me, tell folks how your process works, how you go about this.
So I don't see myself as a fortune teller. I do not predict specific events or look into an external person's energy, just because I believe that takes away free will and it takes away from your own power and strength. So I look at things as us being surrounded by energy. You can walk into a room, nothing is said, and walk away and say, oh my gosh, you could cut the tension with a knife. You can walk into that same room and walk away and say, oh my gosh, that was lighter than air. And so I think about that energy that surrounds us all as a weight. And so I try to look at that energy where it's facing you in the face, where you can be exerting twice as much effort and only getting half as far. Or what I try to do with tarot is I look at ways where you, as the person seeking guidance, can use your own power and strength to move that energy to your back. So now you're exerting only half as much energy, but getting twice as far. But all the power stays with you. And so when I do a reading, I just tap into my own intuition and I read what I see. I don't look at necessarily stock interpretations because I don't know who wrote them. They don't know you. But I rather just let the tarot tell a story. And I use it as a visual representation of the unconscious. Your unconscious is on your side, wants you to be happy, wants you to succeed. So there's nothing that could possibly come up in a reading that I do that could be scary. And even though they're scary looking cards, Sometimes the scariest looking cards are actually the best. I place a very clear boundary around every single reading I do, that the only thing that I am seeking from that reading is additional guidance, clarity, and insight for you to be able to make your own decision. So one of the people who are going to be on, Reverend Geraldine Amaral, coming up in a few weeks, she always likens it to being a midwife. You know, you didn't put the baby in there, you don't keep the baby, but you're just there to help guide the insight that comes out. And that's really how I see my role and how I see my work in doing tarot card readings.
Awesome. And for those of you out there, Mr. Benny is already busy. We are taking your calls. We're going to put you in the queue when you call in 1-800-930-2819. Okay, I'm ready.
I love it. Now, I always do like to start with a little bit of a disclaimer that I am not a lawyer, doctor, realtor, therapist. And so a tarot card reading should never be a substitute for assistance from a licensed professional. But let's take a look. I'm going to go through the process a little bit more slowly than I will for subsequent readings, just so people can get a sense of what I'm doing on my part while we're doing a reading. I have a candle on, which is my signal to open a session, and I'm just shuffling the cards while I ask you, Pat, is there anything in particular you have a question about, would like guidance on, or just a general reading?
I have one question. Can I get both?
Well, let's see what comes up. What I'm going to do is, while shuffling, I'm asking what guidance is available for Dr. Pat in terms of how best to navigate the next few months going forward for optimal success and happiness. And now I'm going to be using my non-dominant hand as I cut the deck, because the non-dominant hand is the one that accesses the unconscious. And now I've fanned the cards out face down in front of me, and using my non-dominant hand, I'm just going to pick a card to represent you right now. And I just pulled out a card, whatever card kind of sticks to my finger. And then the next card is something challenging or blocking. And then finally, an advice card. So in terms of the card that comes up first, it's the Emperor. Now, the Emperor is what we call a major arcana card. And in tarot, I have 4 kings, but only 1 emperor. And an emperor, you don't get promoted to emperor. You're sort of born into it. And so what that means is that there is a weightiness, a seriousness to your life that comes just as part of your DNA, because you had to take on that added responsibility earlier on in life. And that even if you could hit the reset button and say, you know what, I really want to enjoy more things as a child, you still took on those responsibilities without question. And that energy, though, has served you well in life. It just at the same time makes it a little bit harder to embrace joy without feeling that you're being selfish in order to do that. And so there's that kind of quality in your life. Does that resonate with you?
Oh my God, absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, I've shared this on air. You know, my mother committed suicide when I was 6. And so, you know, not to mention, by the time I was 17, I was homeless. So does it resonate? I think, yeah.
Well, and you know, and something that is challenging and blocking, the card that came up is the 5 of Cups. And you see a person kind of focusing on 3 spilled cups of wine. And yet there are 2 upright cups standing behind him. And so something that challenges and blocks that energy from being able to give yourself permission not to take on that responsibility as just part of everything in life, but rather to seek out your own and embrace your own joy, is the fact that you can be a little bit hard on yourself sometimes at thinking of what you didn't say, perhaps perceived mistakes, things that happen along the way. And while no experience is ever wasted. Your experiences to date led you to where you are now. At the same time, in order to embrace the opportunities that are there waiting for you, what it means is it's requiring you to actively turn from those spilled cups of wine. And because the universe doesn't put those upright cups in your view, because then you're not fully embracing that, because you're still having to look past where you feel perhaps you took turns that you shouldn't have and everything, although it's all a journey. And there's no one right journey here. And again, that emperor quality has served you well in life, and it's now part of your DNA, and they're wonderful qualities from it.
I love this. And, I can't believe how right on this is. And, I just want to tell folks that Eve and I did not rehearse this. We didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about me in this way. And I just want to just say that to you all out there, because as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go to Eve's website and I am going to sign up for a complete reading for my Halloween.
Oh, well, thank you. In terms of just to close this out, the advice card is the 8 of Swords, which you have. It's one of those scary looking cards, but it's an advice card and there's really nothing scary about it. But that when there's times of adversity, you might perhaps kind of go to that place of feeling powerless. And
totally.
It's all about recognizing that you are only as powerless as you choose to be. But if you see yourself as powerless, you run the risk of creating that self-fulfilling prophecy. Sometimes we step on our own energy against our own better judgment and with all the best of intentions. And so you have all the power to access everything you want. It may mean require going against the brain, that emperor quality of saying, oh, that's silly for me to go dancing tonight, or I've got other better things to do than to just go get a cupcake. And yet that's also part of you, is to embrace that joy with that power and strength that you have.
I love it. Thank you, Eve.
My pleasure.
Can I ask you what the picture is on the 8 of Swords?
So on the 8 of Swords, you have a woman who is frankly looking like she is kind of tied herself up, because she's blindfolded, she's tied up, and she's trapped, surrounded by 8 swords. But so from her perspective, she is powerless. But from our perspective, if you look at that card, and I use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you can see that she's actually not trapped. She's not even tied to any of the swords. And so all she has to do is just kind of rub up against one of those swords, take the sword, take the whatever is blindfolding her off, and just walk across and access what she wants.
Wow. We're going to take a short break, everyone. And the phone lines are filled, but please give us a minute. We're actually going to even skip the next break because you know what? People are really wanting to chat with Eve. We'll be right back, everyone.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul, in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net, 1-800-323-1790.
Tune in to The Michael Shane Show the third Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com and connect with the ascended beings to raise your vibration and manifest the life you desire. Get ready to receive healing through the transphysical mediumship of Reverend Michael Shane and the ascended beings. Visit MichaelShane.com. That's MyChael, Shane.com, and call 425-971-6632 to schedule your full healing session now.
Dr. Bree Gibbs is a fourth-generation high priestess with the knowledge to raise your vibration in conscious creation, offering a wide variety of services from goddess light and shamanic healing seminars to private reading sessions. Bree works with you so you too can stand in your own power. Isn't it about time you took your life into your own hands? For more information about Bree's services and products, visit silvergaia.net. That's silvergaia.net.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine. If you get clear and then return to the old patterns and blocks, and your answer to that healing is that you can't or you have to, then you may have a lot of fear that keeps you from choosing your greater good. There's no shame in not being ready. It just may not be time. But if it comes around again, let's try again. We shut ourselves down because we can't imagine another way of handling situations. Source is unlimited. Let's let go of the I can'ts and have-tos and see what shows up. If you're ready to shift into your best life, visit lesliefontaine.com and let's talk about unfolding all that you want to be, do, and have. You'll find sessions, classes, and audio products to help remove the blocks and move you into your potential. And listen to my show, Sheer Alchemy, on Transformation Talk Radio, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Hey, everyone, we're actually going to go right to the phones for those of you out there. And we are going to skip the next break because there are so many folks that want to connect with Eve. I don't even, all I know is I'm going to call the phone number we're about to give you now, and I'm going to schedule my full reading. And as a matter of fact, I could already think of 3 other people that I'm going to give gift certificates for. Eve, how do people schedule this with you, please?
So people can actually schedule directly online at elitetarot.com, or you can call at 347-87-TAROT, T-A-R-O-T, and that's 347-878-2768. But also on my site, you will find frequently asked questions, get a little bit more information. Again, you can book direct. If you're interested in booking me for a group event, such as birthday party, anniversary, Halloween party, that would just definitely just send me an email.
I love it. Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go to the phones. Mr. Benny, you're the man.
All right, we'll take Carla. Carla's calling in from Camp Verde, Arizona. Hello, Carla.
Carla, thank you for waiting. Hey, let me introduce you to my friend Eve.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, Eve. What a blessing to connect with all 3 of you, and well, everybody. So
yeah, it's a blessing to connect with you as well. How can I help you today? Is there anything you have a question about, would like guidance, or just a general reading?
I'm just gonna open up my heart and let the tarot tell a story.
You got it. Okay, so I'm going to ask for guidance for Carla. And so the first card, I'm just going to quickly pull the 3 cards, and I just do it kind of quickly as I see what cards stick to my finger. The first card that I get is the Two of Swords. Now, in this card, you have a person with her back to the water, and she's blindfolded, and she's got a sword in either hand, and they're kind of crossed, as she's really trying to decide and make some decisions at a crossroads. So when I look at this card, I think, oh my gosh, Carla, you are going through that decision, and you're trying to think from within and really listen just to yourself in terms of the best move forward, without trying to put so much stock into perhaps what other people are saying, how other people are kind of egging you to do one thing or another. But at the same time, you can also overthink a situation too, which then can cause that static energy and not get you to actually take that action that's needed. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Totally understandable, and thank you for letting me know that. Something that is challenging or blocking is the Ace of Cups. Now, I love this card. Aces are all about beginnings, and cups are all about the heart, passions. And in this card, you have this beautiful cup being handed literally from the universe. And coming out of that cup are streams of water. So we've got this double water card because the Two of Swords also had that backdrop of water. So basically what this is saying is that an opportunity is sort of making its appearance known to you. And the universe speaks in whispers and pebbles and boulders, and we're kind of in that whisper to pebble stage. And the universe can give you a gift, but it's up to you to actually embrace it. But when you've kind of overthought a situation sometimes, you can be hesitant to accepting that, because it's like, oh, I'm trying to dot all my I's and cross all my T's, when sometimes that's not the information you have. The way I always look at it is I always say, go through open doors, but honor any and every red flag you see. Because sometimes you may not necessarily see green lights. But to tell you the truth, this is an awesome time, because the advice card I got was the Three of Wands, which is a fantastic card. Wands are all about feeling inspired and inspiration. Kind of Steven Spielberg might be the king of the wands. And here you've got a person with an idea. It's got 3 wands. It's like not enough to build a house, but more than just a germ of an idea. And he's just looking at the open landscape. And similar to, I think, your area too, looking into the open landscape and just allowing yourself to take it in any direction and not feel compelled to have to take your journey forward in a conventional approach. You have too much creativity and too much desire to be almost like a trendsetter about getting your passions across and feeling inspired. And it can be challenging when there is no path that is clearly ahead to follow. So just stay true to yourself, but take action when needed. Again, going through those open doors, but honoring any red flags you see.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much for calling in. And by the way, I don't know if you heard me say this, but Eve is going to be on every week, and we're going to tell you exactly when that's going to start. So you're going to be able to get, you're going to be able to get your cup filled up from Eve. You know when? Every week. Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much. Mr. Benny, let's skip our break. Who do we have next?
We'll take Gina calling in from Bellevue. Hello, Gina.
Gina.
Hi, Gina.
Hello,
Gina. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, thanks.
Thank you.
How are you, Gina? How can we help you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. And I'm interested in a reading for some things to look out for the next few months, just similar to the one that Dr. Pat received.
Sweet.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to ask for guidance for Gina in terms of navigating the next few months for optimal success and happiness. So I'm fanning the cards out. I'm just This first card just jumped out and attached itself to my finger right away. And now I'm just pulling the advice card. All right, let's take a look and see what we have, Gina. So it's interesting that I was talking about with Carla about the King of the Wands, even though she had the Three of Wands, because your very first card is the King of Wands. And I love when clients, people I'm doing readings for, pull Kings and Queens for their core card, because it really talks about your innate strength that you have. And in this card, you see this regal king but he's a king of wands. And as I said, wands are all about creativity and feeling inspired. And so this is the time for you to truly access and embrace just the fact that you may not necessarily beat to the same drum as everyone else, and that is fantastic. And to own that creativity and own that desire to feel inspired. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It rings true.
Well, I'm so glad, and something that's challenging or blocking is the Three of Pentacles. And on this card, we've got three people working together, and one person is standing on a bench, and the other two are kind of looking at the person on the bench. And while the other two are looking at the person on the bench's eyes, they're just looking at their eyes, and yet the person who's doing this work standing on a bench feels the need to stand on a bench, and even though the others don't see it. And so there's an element of perhaps some insecurity or doubt in yourself that frankly we can retire because others don't see it. But if you believe it to be there, as I was saying to Dr. Pat earlier, you run the risk of creating that self-fulfilling prophecy. Rather, just burn that bench for firewood in preparation of the cold winter, because you don't need to prove your strength to anyone. In the sense of the advice card that comes up is this beautiful card, Temperance. And in this, you see this angelic person walking across a path where there is no path. And behind her is a very clear path, but that's not the way she's going. So there is an element of an unconventional journey, Gina, that you are taking. And that can be so rewarding. However, if you're on an unconventional journey, and yet you look at others who are taking a different path, perhaps one that is more conventional, and then compare yourself to them, it's like apples and oranges. Your journey is completely unique. It will look like that of no one else on this planet, and that's wonderful. So own those tremendously strong, unique gifts as you go forward on your path, creating a path by staying true to yourself and your vision.
Oh, I love it. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Please keep us updated.
Yes, please do. Awesome. Oh,
Bye.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Before we go to the next caller, would you might say, let folks know again, if they want to schedule full readings or even gift certificates kind of for other people, this would be the time to kind of get in the queue, because I know you get pretty busy. So would you tell folks how to do that?
Absolutely. They can go directly to my site, elitetarot.com. And again, I'm also going to be here every week taking calls and doing readings, but you can directly purchase a reading for yourself or for someone else, for a loved one, or if you want to just create a gift certificate, and so the person can do the reading and claim the gift certificate at a later time, that's all good. Again, it doesn't matter wherever you are in this world. I know Australia, you're out there, because I know we're playing out there. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, I'll look forward to doing readings for you.
All right, Mr. Benny.
Yes, ma'am. We will take Alice calling in from Maple Valley.
Hi, Alice.
Hi, Alice.
Hi. I'm so glad I got through, and I love the Dr. Pat show.
Thank you, Alice. You
I
guys
do
are the
too.
best listeners on the planet. You know, I love it. Now, look, I'm so glad you got in because we've got plenty of time for Eve to chat with you.
Okay,
So-
great.
Hi, Alice. Is there anything you have a question about, would like guidance on, or just a general reading?
Just a general reading would be great.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask for guidance for Alice, and just cutting the deck and fanning the cards out. And that card jumped out. That card jumped out, and I'm just fanning my hands about the advice. All right. Okay, so we start with the Queen of Cups. And as I said to Gina, the last caller, is that I love it when clients book kings and queens in this core position because, again, you have tremendous strength. Now, cups are all about the heart. And in this card, you see a queen, and she is sitting on her throne, and she's staring intently into this beautiful cup, trying to kind of figure out where that joy is, in a sense, because there is an element of self-protectiveness that perhaps is part of you as you're trying to embrace joy and try to embrace love, that it's done from that perspective of self-protectiveness. And what that means is that sometimes while you are as strong as anything, you can kind of, and I do it myself, you can kind of get caught up in your own emotions so much that then it's hard to sort of decouple from that, which then can lead to sometimes a feeling of isolationist or kind of feeling like, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I access how I feel and how I love and how I embrace joy? Does that resonate?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, something challenging this, but again, Queens, you've got all that strength to be able to do that. One of the things about this card, though, is that on her throne, there is a baby or like a little child that's part of the throne. And so there's that inner child that sometimes you can kind of be overthinking the inner child, trying to protect the inner child, rather than let your inner child be free to kind of be your GPS. I always say you are best served when you let that inner child be your GPS, but you still have the keys to the car. And something that's challenging you, it's interesting because we talked about this card a little bit ago, is card number 0. The Fool. And in this card, you have a person who is dressed in a colorful tunic, and he is about to take the proverbial leap of faith into the unknown. And so there is an opportunity. There is perhaps a direction that you've been wanting to go in, and you're kind of overprotecting yourself when sometimes we just don't know all the information before we take that leap of faith. If you talk with anyone who started a business, they will all say the same thing.
Yeah.
If I had known then what I know now, I'd have been a fool. So I mean, this part is not necessarily being fool like, haha, you're a fool, but rather, in order to take that leap of faith forward, it requires you to take on that fool mentality of just knowing that you have all the tools you need to take that leap of faith, and that you're taking your great brain with you on that journey, so that after you take that leap of faith, you're easily able to navigate that journey. It doesn't end with the leap of faith. It just begins with the leap of faith.
Oh, but isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is. Very, very a lot to think about.
Well, let me just tell you one other card, and that's the advice card, and it's the 10 of Wands. And in this card, you have a person who is holding up 10 wands, but in order for him to kind of push these wands forward and keep them together, it's causing a strain. And in fact, for him to be holding on to these 10 wands, he has to cover his own eyes. Whereas if you release just one or two things from either your physical to-do list, or scripts that no longer serve you, by releasing just one or two of these, your load becomes easier to manage and lighter, and the destination becomes that much clearer. So it's all kind of counterintuitive, but it's just trying not to step on your own energy and block the momentum that your inner child is just wanting to take forth, because Alice, you're not done. You're just getting started.
Oh, I'm excited for you. I really am. And by the way, thank you so much for calling in. And we're going to give out Eve's information one more time so that you all have it. And as I said before, Eve is going to be here every week. And so we're excited to have her hosting a show here on Transformation Talk Radio. So put it down in your calendar. We'll give you some information and off we go. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm excited. I cannot believe the hour is already wrapping up. Before we kind of, wrap this up one more time, tell folks when your show's starting. Give folks some information, because I know that they're wanting to know this.
So my show starts next week, 7 days and minus 1 hour. And so it's going to be every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I will be taking calls just as I did today. Also, we'll be talking a little tarot and talking with other people in different fields, just learning more about other ways of accessing enlightenment and harnessing the power of the universe with your own strength to achieve optimal happiness and happier living.
I love this. And again, for those folks that probably are listening to the show maybe later on today, I want to make sure they also know how they can find out more about you. And I am just so honored and thrilled, Eve. Thank you.
Oh, well, no, thank you so much. I always say the older I get, the less I know. And so I'm just really looking forward to being part of this. And I always like, in the words of Melanie Griffith, in the closing words of Working Girl, the movie, she says, the rest we'll figure out as we go along. And so I'm really looking forward to figuring out things with everyone else and being part of this journey together.
Oh my gosh. Give out your website again, please.
It is elitetarot.com. That's ELITETAROT.
And for those of you that have missed any part of the show today, what will happen is it'll replay tonight. Please go to Transformation Talk Radio. Follow us on iTunes, SoundCloud, all of the other places. I don't even know what they are at this point. But you could also download our app and take us with you wherever you go. We've got so much planned for all of you, because you are the best listeners on the planet. And we love, love, love you. What's your personal message real quick for our listeners, Eve?
Use what is in your power and stay strong and embrace joy.
Yeah, as a famous person once said, rock on. We'll see you next time.
Let's go out in a tried to swim against brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and please, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head and a trouble that can be.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.